Fine. See, next concept is partitioner. So why we are having this partitioner here? See, it is giving you more performance on your application first. It will give you what? More performance on your application. How it is? Let us see this one. So generally, if I am having 4 mappers, already you have seen, right? We have taken 200 MB of file. And how many number of input splits will be there? 4. How many number of mappers will be there? 4. So 4 mappers will be there. So by default, how many number of reducers are there? How many? Yes. So how many number of output files will be given? 1 only. So if you are having 1 reducer, 1 output file will be given. If you are having 2 reducers, 2 output files will be given. So just say that I am having only 1 reducer. So all mappers are giving output key comma value pairs. As we have seen word count job, all these mappers will give different types of output key comma value pairs. So your reducer will combine all your output key comma value pairs. This one what we are calling it as intermediate data, right? Right or wrong? So intermediate data it is. Intermediate data. So on intermediate data by default 2 phases will be done. Yes, one is shuffling, another one is what? Sorting. Okay. Next. So all your key comma value pairs, once all your key comma value pairs are going to be shuffled and sorted, those will be given for this reducer as what? Input key comma value pairs. Okay. Observe here. If I am having 1 reducer, 1 output file will be given. That single output file will give output for all your key comma value pairs. Next, if suppose if I am maintaining 2 reducers, how many number of output files will be given? 2. 2 output files will be given. So these 2 output files will be from 2 reducers. Observe here now. So how many number of key comma value pairs will be given? Exactly how 1 reducer is giving all your key comma value pairs as ultimate output. Here also these 2 reducers will share those key comma value pairs. Okay, and exactly same number of output key comma value pairs will be there. But the only difference is what? Instead of passing all your shuffled and sorted key comma value pairs for this single reducer, it is just trying to split those key comma value pairs to number of reducers. That is the only difference. Getting what I am telling you? See, instead of passing all your shuffled and sorted key comma value pairs for this single reducer, it is just trying to pass those shuffled and sorted key comma value pairs to what? Number of reducers, that how many you are specifying in your driver code. Generally we are specifying how many number of reducers you have to work with. I have told you already, one method is there. Set num reduce tasks method. So there how many number of reducers you are giving, those many number of reducers will be there, and these reducers will share all your key comma value pairs. Generally, who is going to share your key comma value pairs to different reducers? Can somebody say that? Who is going to share number of key comma value pairs? Number of key comma value pairs. Just say that here also one more reducer is there. Fine. So as you are having 3 reducers, 3 output files will be there. So here you are having one default class as hash partitioner. One default class is there. How you are having default mapper class as? What is your default mapper class? Identity mapper. What is your default reducer class? Identity reducer. How you are having identity reducer and identity mapper as what? Default reducer and mapper classes. Here also one more partitioner class is there. That is what? Default class. What is that? Hash partitioner. Hash partitioner is what? Default partitioner class. Predefined class it is. So this hash partitioner is taking some responsibility of what? Splitting all your key comma value pairs to different reducers. Depending on what? Hash code of your object. Depending on the hash code of your object, it is just trying to split those key comma value pairs to number of reducers. Okay. So it knows very well that how to split all your key comma value pairs to number of reducers. That depends on what? Hash code of that object. But it is not aware of exactly which key comma value pair should be sent to which reducer specifically. Find the difference. It knows very well that how to split all your key comma value pairs to number of reducers, but it is not aware of that which key comma value pair should be sent to which reducer specifically. It is not aware of that. Getting what I am telling you? Again I am telling you, hash partitioner knows only one thing, that how to split number of shuffled and sorted keys to number of reducers, but it is not aware of that which key and which value should be sent to specific reducer. Let me just give you one small example. If suppose if I am going to get such output, see this one, how comma 2 is comma 5, okay, am comma 2, r comma 5, your comma 7, and I comma 1, I comma 2, just say that. So these are all what number of output key comma pairs, just consider them, okay. And one more is also there, just take it as what, find comma 3. These are all what, key comma pairs. If suppose if I am taking single reducer, what will happen? That single reducer only will give all these output key comma pairs in some sorting output. If I am maintaining 3 reducers, exactly all these key comma pairs will be shared for 3 reducers, but it will never, see, output will not be variated. Output will be exactly find 3, how 2, is 5, am 2, r 5, your 7, and what, I 2. But the only difference is what, instead of sending all your key comma pairs to a single reducer, it is just trying to split those key comma pairs to number of reducers. So who is going to send those key comma pairs to number of reducers? Hash partitioner, that depending on what, hash code of your object. Got it? Now my requirement is I have to send specific key comma pair to specific reducer. What is it, sir? If my keys length is what, 1, then I must send that one to first reducer. If my keys length is what, 2, I should send that one to second reducer. If my keys length is 3, I have to send that one to third reducer. If my keys length is more than 3, I have to send that one to fourth reducer. Got it? Means what, are we going to send them specifically for unique reducers or not? Right or wrong? So we are sending all these key comma pairs to specific reducers. Okay. So but if your hash partitioner is just participating in that, we cannot exactly say that where this fine is going to be given, in which reducer that fine is going to be given exactly. Okay. But if you are going to write your own partitioner code, okay, that depending on the logic what we are writing, your key comma pairs will be specifically sent for what, different reducers. That is what exactly partitioner is. So because of this partitioner, performance will be more and readability also will be more on your application. Okay, so shall we start writing this program now? Okay, already you have taken word count program. Okay, no, already you have taken word count only. Word count you have taken, average word length that I will give you, you need not worry of. Word count program I have given. Word count you have taken, word mapper you have taken, word reducer you have taken. Now we are going to see what? Partitioner code. So if you wanted to send specific key comma pairs to specific reducer, we have to design our own partitioner code. Hash partitioner will never work, because hash partitioner can know only one thing, that how to send your key comma pairs depending on your hash code of that object, but it cannot send specific key comma pair to specific reducer. So how to design that code, that we will see by writing our own partitioner code. Okay, just take it down. Partitioner class, public class, I'll take this class name as what, my partitioner. Okay, I'll take this one as my partitioner. Implements partitioner. So already you have seen, if you are not taking your own mapper code, identity mapper will come into picture. If you wanted to take your own mapper, what we have to do? If you wanted to take your own mapper, what we have to do? You have to implement mapper interface. If you wanted to take your own reducer, you have to implement your own reducer interface. So when we are going to implement that mapper, then only our class will become what? Mapper class. If we are going to implement that reducer, then only our class will become reducer class. If we are going to implement partitioner, then only our class will become what? Partitioner class. Nothing is there, same terminology here. The only difference is what? Interface names. Okay, now see, so as you have implemented this partitioner interface, one more thing here, partitioner is also expecting 2 generic type parameters. So partitioner will be working out in between mapper and reducer, right? So mapper is giving output key comma pair, same output key comma pair will be passed to the reducer as input key comma pair. So reducer can work on output of mapper only, right or wrong? What is that mapper output key type here? text comma int writable. Very good. So text comma int writable, text comma int writable. That's it. Because mapper can take same text and int writable as what input, and it can give same in text and int writable as what output also. So as you are providing implementation for this partitioner interface, we must provide implementation for what? 2 methods which we are having in this partitioner interface. Luckily we have only 2 methods, not 1000 methods. Okay, so as you are having 2 methods, we should take that responsibility of what? Providing implementation. First method, public void configure, public void configure of job conf it is. See, just leave this method. This we will discuss later. Okay, we will discuss this one later. Next, one more method is what? Public int. One more method is that get partition. Get partition. Another method is what? Get partition. See this. This get partition method is expecting through how many? 3 parameters. One is input key type. Same generic type only, right? We are passing. So what is that? Text type. Okay. Text. Key I am giving. Next one is what? Int writable value, comma. No, here we have to specify number of reducers that you wanted to take. Okay. So just say that I am giving int set num reduce set num red tasks. You can take anything over there. So for your easy understanding purpose, I have taken set num reduce tasks. If you want, you can take either I or A or something else. Even your name also you can take. There is no problem at all. Okay. So what is our requirement now? We have to send specific key value pair to specific reducer. So if my keys length is what 1, then I have to send that one to first reducer. If my keys length is what 2, then I have to send that one to second reducer, right? Now observe here, how to find its length. Key is what? This one only, right? So how to find out its length? How to find out its length? You have to use length method. Do we have length method in this text class? You don't have. Then what we have to do? Convert that text type key into what? String type. So how to convert that? Nothing is there. Yes, by using toString. String s is equal to, I'll give key dot. One second. Key dot. Right? Got it? So first you have to convert this text type key into what? String type, and then you can find out its length, because length method is there in your string class. So now what I am doing is, if s dot length, is it method or variable? Is it method or variable? Method it is, because s is of what type? Is it array type or is it string type variable? String type variable. It is not array type, right? So it is method only. If it is array type, then you can take it as what? Length variable. So if s dot length is equal to 1, if s dot length is equal to 1, then what is our return type? Int. So I will return 0 here. Okay. Next, if s1 dot length is equal to 2, then return 1. Okay. Next, see this one. If s1 dot length is equal to 3, then return 2, else return 3. That's it. Else return 3. That's it. So now see, how many number of reducers you can work with now? Minimum. How many number of reducers you have to work with? 4. Mandatory, yeah? What will happen if I am taking less than 4? You are saying that 4 is mandatory, right? What will happen if I am taking less than 4? Just say that I am taking 3 only, not 4. Then what will happen? Nothing is there. Your program is giving what? Exception. Your program is giving what? Exception. Means if you are taking 3 reducers, if its length is 1, then it is returning that value to what? First reducer. If its length is 2, then it is returning that value to what? Second reducer. If its length is 3, then it is returning that value to what? Third reducer. What about if any key is there, its length is what? 4, to whom that value will be returned? Is there any reducer to return that value? There is no reducer, so it is simply giving what? Error. Means what? Exception, not error. Compile time errors will not be given, exceptions will be given. Got it? So you have to take minimum 4 number of reducers, or else more than that. If you want, you can take 5, there is no problem. If I am taking 5, what will happen? Nothing is there. Up to 4 reducers it is filling all your key comma pairs. 5th reducer will be what? Empty file. Right or wrong? 5th reducer is what? Empty file. Up to 4 reducers your key comma pairs will be filled up in that. Clear? So if you are taking less than 4, it is giving problem. If you are taking 4 or more than 4, it would be better, so that your program will be done successfully. Okay, fine. So what we have to do, if this program should be executed, if you wanted to execute this same program, what we have to do? How your mapper code is executing? How your reducer code is going to be executed? How your mapper code and reducer code are going to be executed? Because of configuring in your driver code. If you are not configuring them, those will never be executed. Okay, so how to execute, how to let this partitioner to be executed? Yes, you have to configure this partitioner class in your driver code. So how to configure that? How to configure that? What is that? Conf dot? Very good. So you have to give conf dot set partitioner class. Conf dot set partitioner class of my partitioner dot class. That's it. How you are configuring your partitioner class, mapper class, how you are configuring your reducer class. The same way you have to configure your partitioner class also. Okay, configuring this partitioner class is not enough here. Why it is? You have to give number of reducers, right? Because you have to specify number of reducers, otherwise this partitioner class cannot identify that how many number of reducers you are using and how many number of reducers will be filled up with those key comma pairs. So definitely you have to configure that. How to configure that here? Conf dot set num reduce tasks of what? Actually here it is asking integer type parameter. So you can specify that how many number of reducers you wanted to work with. If you are giving 4, it is successfully done. If you are giving 3, it will be done. It is giving what? Exception. If you are taking 5, 4 will be filled up with what? Actual key comma pairs. Fifth one will be what? Empty file. Empty file. If I am taking 100, okay. So how many number of reducers you can work with? Maximum number of reducers. Maximum number of reducers that you can work with. Infinity, no? Infinity, no? See, 0 to 1 means, 0 to 9 means how many? 10. Okay. How your output will be given here? Part-5 zeros, right? If you are maintaining 1 reducer, if you are working with 1 reducer, how many number of output files will be given? Only 1. That is what? Part-5 zeros. If I am working with 2 reducers, then it is giving part-4 zeros 1. If I am working with 3 reducers, 3 zeros, 4 zeros 2, 4 zeros 2, 4 zeros 3, 4 zeros 4, 4 zeros 5, and so on up to what? Right, very good. 9999. 5 nines. 5 zeros to 5 nines means you can work with maximum number of reducers as what? How many? 1 lakh number of reducers you can work with. 1 lakh reducers you can work with. But we need not to go for those many number of reducers. Nowhere else we are going to come across with that situation, even though you are maintaining what? Gigabytes of data also. That you need not to worry of. But maximum number of reducers are what? Part-5 zeros to part-5 nines. Means what? 1 lakh number of reducers you can work with. Minimum 1, maximum 1 lakh. Got it? So here also you have to specify that number of reducers by using this method. Conf.set num reduce tasks. Okay, these two are what? Mandatory. So once you are filling up this set num reduce tasks as what? 4, this 4 will be initialized for this set num reduce tasks in this method, so that this partitioner class can easily identify that how many number of reducers you are working with, so that it can return those values to different reducers. Suppose if I am giving 1 here, now what will happen? If I am taking 1 here, what will happen now? If I am taking 0 here, what will happen now? It means what? If that key's length is what? 1. If that key's length is what? 1. It is returning that value to which reducer? First reducer or second reducer? Second reducer. Okay, I am telling you again. Key comma value pairs should be sent to specific reducer that we are specifying here. If you are returning 0, that is what first reducer. If you are returning 1, that is what second reducer. If you are returning 3, fourth reducer it is. If I am returning 10, 11th reducer it is. Suppose if I am giving 7 here, 7 here. So how many number of reducers I have to work with minimum? 8. Very good. I have to work with what? Minimum number of 8 reducers. Got it? So this is what partitioner class is. So now we will start executing that program. Okay, we will see how this output will be given. Okay. Start writing that partitioner code also here. So just let me give you right click on that project name. New class. What is our class name here? My partitioner. Okay, my partitioner. Done. Okay. Implements partitioner. Next, Control Shift O. It's a shortcut for getting what? It's imported statement. Okay. Next, let me keep this cursor on this red line so that it is showing you either add unimplemented method. Choose this. Just keep your cursor on this red line. Don't give click on that. Just keep your cursor on that so that it is showing you add unimplemented methods, or else it is giving you what? Make type my partitioner as what? Abstract. I told you already. If you are implementing any partitioner interface, any interface it may be, you have to provide implementation, or else you have to take your class as what? Abstract class. So I'll choose add unimplemented methods. Done. See, is this same method or not? Configure method one is configure method. Another one is what? Get partition method. So here why it is giving object and object here? Because I have not specified generic type here, right? So because of that it is giving. Let me just give those generic types here. See this one, text and int-writable. Control Shift O. Choose this. Now keep your cursor on this. Add an implemented method now. Okay, now see, text it has given as well as int-writable also has given. So that's what I am telling you. Generics always optional but recommended to work with them. Okay, so let me take it as what? Key, and let me take this one as value, and let me take this one as set num red tasks. Okay, so let me just remove this unwanted stuff. Observe here. Now I am giving string s is equal to key dot to string. Next, if s dot length equal to 1. Okay. Next, if s dot length equal to 2, then return 1. Next, if s dot length equal to 3, then return 2. Next, else return 3. Done. So this is it. Do you have any other error here? No. Just save this one and let me create jar file for this. Right click on your project name, say export. Okay, expand this Java, choose jar file, say next. Observe here, I'll give the jar file name. So wc.jar I am giving. Say finish. Now let me take one terminal here. See this one. I'll just give some font size. Okay. Now see this one. I'll create one file. Cat greater than file.txt I'm keeping. So I'll give hi, how are you? Okay, I'm fine. So how are you? How is your job? So how is your family? Next, how is your brother? Control D. Okay. Next, let me keep this file into HDFS. How to put this file into HDFS? Hadoop space fs space hyphen put space file name. What is that file name here? File.txt. And I'll give some name as what? Okay. Manisha. Okay. Done. Clear? So what we have to do now? Where we are having that jar file, we have created some wc.jar file, right? Where the jar file will be located? I told you already. For Eclipse, it is giving you workspace. Where that workspace will be? Where that workspace will be? Come on. If you wanted to know that, what we have to do? Give right click on your project name, choose properties. There it is having what? Resource. If you can give double click on that resource, right side it is giving you that location. Sir, we need not to do all these things. We have remembered that shortcut. What is that shortcut? Alt enter. Just say that. See, resources it is, right? So here you will be having what? Home training workspace. Home training and what? Workspace here. Home training workspace. So where you are having that workspace? In home training, right? So what is your present working directory now? Home and training. Home and training is what? Your present working directory. Now see whether workspace is there or not. Yes. Now just let me give what? CD space workspace ls. Do you have wc.jar file? Right? Now you can happily run that wc.jar file on your file which is there in your HDFS. So I'll give Hadoop space fs space, Hadoop space jar space wc.jar space. What is your driver code name here? Word count space. Have you specified your number of reducers and that have you configured that partitioner class over there in driver code? Never, right? See word count. Just let me come down here. See conf dot set partitioner class my partitioner dot class. Next conf dot set num reduce tasks as what 4 I am giving. Done. Okay. Now let me recreate this jar file back. Just say right click on your project name, say export, say next. Okay, I'll give that same jar file name so that it is asking you to override it. Say yes. So here you can give Hadoop space jar space wc.jar space word count space. So what is our file name there in HDFS? Okay, Manisha, and I'll give some output directory name as what? I'll give partitioner output. Partitioner output. Just see whether it is working or not. Right? So I told you already, you can even check this one by using URL also. How to check whether up to what extent our job has been done? How to check? What is that URL? For MapReduce. What is that for HDFS? http://s localhost colon 50070 is for what? HDFS. Another one is what? Yes, http://s localhost colon 50030. See, there it is saying that job tracker, right? So simply to say this port number can be either for MapReduce, either can be for what? Job tracker, because your job tracker only can start your mapper and reducer, right? So just let me come down here. Running jobs. How many jobs are running here? Just let me do this. See this one. What is your job ID here? 0001. 0001. Up to what extent your job has been done? 12.5% in reducer, and mappers gets completed already. Let me just give refresh button here. Done. So how many number of reducers it is working with now? Here 4 number of reducers. So how many output files you are going to expect? 4 only, right? See this one. So we'll check this in this one. Browse the file system. Just say user here. Just say training here. Okay. So this Manisha is what? Our input file. Just come down here. Partitioner output is what? Our output directory. Open that. Do you have output files or not? How many output files are there? How many output files are there? 4. 4 it is. So part F1 5 zeros, part F1 4 zeros 1, 4 zeros 2, 4 zeros 3. Let me open that part F1 5 zeros. If my keys length is what? 1, that should be passed to first reducer. Done. Next, if my keys length is 2, that should be passed to second reducer. That should be passed to what? Second reducer. If my keys length is 3, that should be passed to third reducer. That should be passed to third reducer. If my keys length is 4, that should be passed to fourth reducer. 4 or more than 4, whatever it may be. Okay, it can be 4, it can be more than 4 also. But everything will be given in some sorting output here. Have seen this one? Each and every reducer will give their key comma value pairs in some sorting output. Clear? So this is that. So if I am taking number of reducers as what? 3, then what will happen? Shall we see that one? Observe here now. I'll take number of reducers as what? 3. I'll take number of reducers as what? 3. Then what will happen? Just let me create jar file back. Right click on this. Say export. Say next. Say finish. Yes. Now see this one. I'll give same URL here. Okay, same command here, and I'll give outcome this time. So every time you have to change that output directory name here. It is very, very important, because your file system will never allow same file names or what? Same directory names twice or thrice. See what it is saying? Illegal partitioner for your 3. Illegal partitioner for your 3. Your means what it is? It's a word in your file. So your is what? Having 4 characters in that. So its length is what? 4, but there is no 4th reducer. So it is giving what? Exception. Illegal partition for your such, that word will be given, as well as brother also will be given there. Clear? So this is what? Exception which we are going to get if we are taking less number of reducers than your logic. Fine. If I am taking more number of reducers, what will happen? Yes, that 4 reducers will be filled up this output. Next one is what? Will be empty file. So just let me show you that also. Sorry, 5 I am taking. Just let me take this. Give right click on this. Say export. Next. Say finish. Yes. Okay, I'll give outcome 1 2 3 this time. So is it giving you output now? Definitely. Even for failed job also it is giving you one job ID. That you should not forget that. Okay. So as you have taken more number of reducers bit, it is running bit slowly. Okay. Done. Now see, just let me come back here. What is our output directory here now? Partitioner output 1 2 3, right? Outcome 1 2 3. Just let me open this. Part F and 5 zeros, right? Next, let me give what? 2. So you need not to check by opening that file here. Here you can see this one. What is its size? 0 KB. Means what? As it has taken only one key comma value pair, it is giving what? 0 KB only. It is not occupying any more space. Here, as you are having 3 key comma value pairs, it is giving what? 0.01 KB. As it has given you 4 key comma value pairs, it has given you what? 0.02 KB. But here for that fifth output file, it is giving you what? 0 KB. Means there is no output key comma value pair in that. Clear? So this is what partitioner code is. Okay.